Hello, hello, hello. If you can hear me, type in the chat. My name is Leo Valentino, and today we're going to be covering time management. And this is a training that I've done before, but I would like this session to go over 10 tips, 10 tactics of time management that I have been using in my life that ideally will serve you for 2026 and every single year after that. I'm sitting here in Los Angeles. I'm spending time with my mom, my sister for Thanksgiving. And this is one of the only Thanksgivings where I am not stressed in my business because I have planned these meetings. I have planned this live show. I have planned all of the times that I'm going to be with family and friends during Thanksgiving. And so I'm very aware of where my time is going over the holiday season. And the challenge that I want to bring up here to you guys is that most people don't have a time challenge. They have an awareness challenge. They're not aware of where their time is going or what their time is impacting the other aspects of their life or their business. And so I'll be doing a demo today of how to manage your time. And then I'll also be going over every single rule in the book, or I guess we should call it every single tactic in the book for how you can start utilizing better priority management, better time management starting today. So very, very good to see everyone here, and very good to sit here with you guys. I'm very, very thankful to have this show. It is a place for me to have a stream of consciousness and have a place to just share the things that I've been learning every single day. When I input all this information, it's always so good to have some place to share it, some place to write, some place to talk, and to teach it. Because when you teach something that you're learning or teach something that you've been implementing for years, you always find different caveats and different ways of improving it that you wouldn't have seen before if you were just spinning your wheels and doing what you always do. And so that's why I always recommend that you guys make content, that you guys spend some time writing, or that you guys start a live show if it's in your cards, or even going live on Instagram or Facebook. But I do this show every single Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. It is beautiful out here. I'm going to show you guys. I have this awesome harbor in front of me, and I've just been sitting here and prepping the show and just being very grateful for the opportunities to be able to do it. So I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to go over these 10. I want you to write them down, take notes, and do your best to practice it, especially over the holiday season. And this week, there's a lot of opportunities for you to put these into repetition. The 10th one is probably the most important. Why did I put on the 10th one? Is so you stay all throughout the 10 steps, the 10 tactics, because I really want you guys to put these into play, right? I got the 10 right here. So before I do that, first of all, I want to say hey to you guys. What's up, Drew? What's up, Les? What's up, Ricky? What's up, Fernando? What's up, Josh? When I do the show right before, I'm like, hey, as long as I got my few people that I love and I care about, and they get to get this sauce, I'm happy. I know that millions of people will see this after, but it's been a cool mindset for those of you who are here that are making content or will do a show or will be on stage. Every single time I go on stage, I pray before, and I pray that I could give the same type of sauce if there's one person versus a million people. Because one day God will bless us with millions of people that will get this type of value. But if we can be faithful in the little, we can be faithful in many. If I can be very grounded and very confident and calm when I'm giving you, the 6 of you on here, the information and the consciousness from my mind and my heart, then when there's a million people out there, 10 million, however many people out there, I will be able to not break under pressure. And so everything you do, see it as a repetition. Everything you do, see it as another step towards success, another stepping stone to get to where you want to be, because never is it ever just given to you just like that, right? And I'm going to go to my page here in a second, but there's been times in my life where God has just blessed me with, boom, here's 1 million followers in 30 days on TikTok. What happened to that TikTok? It died. I haven't used it since. I post here and there, but it kind of died off because I wasn't ready to have 1 million people. I wasn't ready to have 1 billion views. However, same thing Instagram. I was a little bit more ready, and so I still use it. I still serve those people. But God said, hey, here's $150,000, not dollars. I have a habit of saying dollars after any thousand. Here's 150,000 people that want to watch your stuff. And I was a little bit more mature. I was a little bit more ready. But even then, I still dropped the ball at certain points when I was given that many people. And so the lesson I'm going through right now, guys, is being faithful in the little. If you're blessed with a room of 6 people, if you're blessed with 3 people who watch your stuff, 30 people, be faithful in that. Guide them. Because if I did my best to lead 30 people, that's 30 more people that can have a better life. That's 30 more people that can be led to the kingdom. That's 30 more people who can go create $1 million to go feed a bunch of kids and help a lot of homeless people or develop a great family. And so when you're faithful in the little, you can be faithful in the many. And I believe that God can bless us with so much more when we have that mentality. So that's my start. How does this relate to time? I believe that when you manage your time and priorities well, and you can look at your calendar every morning. Here, let me show you my calendar. Do I have my calendar open? Hey guys, type in the chat if you can see my calendar as I show it to you. Okay. I'm on my Mac, so I don't have everything set up here. This is October. Let's go to November 25th. So right now I'm doing my show. You see here in the orange, it says Leo Valentino Show. Okay. So I know exactly where my hour is going and what I'm doing after this. I'm hanging with my beautiful mother after this, and then I'll be going to dinner. And then tomorrow I know exactly what I'm doing, what time I'm waking up. Today I woke up at 7:30 because I went to my mom's last night and knew I was going to go to sleep late, so I planned very early yesterday to sleep a lot later. But because I know exactly where my time is going, let me not show my zooms. You know what? It's okay. Because I know where my time is going, I don't have anxiety. I don't have stress. A lot of anxiety comes from the unknown. It comes from indecision. If I have an open tab here and I don't know where my time is going, that's where I could become a lot more anxious because, hey, let me make sure my sound is coming through. Testing. Yeah, my sound is coming through. So if I know where my time is going, I'm a lot less anxious, right? So that's what I want you guys to have, is the ability to know exactly where your time is going and be able to prioritize what is important. This show is very important in addition to hanging out with my mom. But in that time of, it's like 2 hours, 3 hours of hanging out with my mom, I could work and I could get a lot of things done. However, I always ask myself, what is most important to me, right? Is work more important, or is being with my mother and my sister more important, right? I always ask myself in the future as well, what would I have been so thankful that I chose to put my time in that place? And it's, of course, being around my mom, being around family, right? Same thing with other individuals in my life, right? It's certain points can be put towards relationships, certain things can be put towards work, but you have to just make that choice and make that decision every single day. It's best when you plan it out beforehand too, so you don't have that little wobbly indecisions, okay? So rule number one is this: if it's not on your calendar, it does not exist. If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. This has been so helpful to me because there's so many times, just like I said, where I get so indecisive of what to do. Do I go eat? Do I go work? Do I go to the coffee shop to work, or do I go home to work, right? But what I like to do, and you'll see it in number, did I put it on here? Anyways, there's a lot of sauce in here that I want to get to. When I put something on my calendar, I'm making a decision. I'm going to go do this. If it's on your calendar and you skip over it, you're lying to yourself. Because what your calendar is saying is, whatever is in this hour slot, I have made a decision to get this done. Okay? I have made a decision to study in the morning. I have made a decision to do a workout. I have made a decision to call Paul at 11 a.m. But because it's on there, I'm going to get it done. I have such little anxiety throughout my day because anything that could possibly come up, for example, emergency phone call, sure, I can take it at let's just say it comes in at 11, okay? And it's an emergency, which who knows that emergencies don't come in every single day. Emergencies are emergencies, right? If it's coming in all throughout the day, it's not an emergency. You give them a call back and say, hey, at 11:45 to 12, I have some time. Call me then, right? You want to be able to leave some buffer space, of course, but if it's on the calendar, it exists. If it's not on the calendar, it does not exist. I used to always say this, and I still say this. You want to be a slave to your calendar. Okay, you want to be a slave to your calendar. A lot of people will say, hey, that's you got to be careful with those words. I say absolutely not. It's the way that's led me. It's led me to put everything that exists in my calendar that exists so I can get it done. And you say, Leo, what about all the things that come up out of nowhere? You could do this. Here, ready? If anything ever does come up that absolutely needs to change, I could do this. I could move it down, or I could move it to the next day. Okay? But I always make sure that I'm careful when I put something on here, because if it's on here, it's going to get done. If it's not on here, very likely it's not going to get done. Okay? So let's move on to the next piece. Number 2 is the 2-minute rule. And yes, I am going to Vegas. The 2-minute rule is this. If it takes 2 minutes, you do it now. If it takes 2 minutes, you do it now. Now, again, you're saying, Leo, what about all the other things on my calendar? The reason I create buffer time, which is going to be number 6. Number 6 is creating buffer time. The reason I create that buffer time is because all throughout my day, I want to give myself rest. I want to give myself time to eat. I want to give myself time to do nothing. But in those times, I always say, is there something that I can get done now? And very likely you have a big to-do list. A big to-do list right in front of you, okay? Every single day, I'll write down a couple things that I know I got to get done. When the 2-minute rule is this, when you're going through your list, ask yourself, can this get done in 2 minutes? If it can get done in 2 minutes, you get it done. For example, I got to follow up with this seller, or I got to post this on Instagram, or I got to post on my story, or I have to text that person back. Those take 2 minutes. You just want to make sure you're disciplined in making sure it's 2 minutes and then you stop. If you know it'll take you 5 minutes, if you know it'll take you 10 minutes, then put it on your calendar. But most of the times we don't put a 2-minute task on our calendar because why would we? Right? Why would we put a 2-minute task there? This will save you so much micro decisions, or I should say micro indecision. It will save so much plaque. Okay, it will save so much plaque on your mind because it's little tabs that you know you have to get done, but it's not on your calendar, so it kind of just lives in your brain. You want to be able to get those out of the way by knocking them out with the 2-minute rule. Okay? So the next piece I'm going to spend some time on. Okay, I see everyone here. This is going to be very important for you all. This is number 3, creating a morning rhythm. You want your morning to prime your mind before the world takes it over. Do you understand me? So when you wake up in the morning and you decide to get up and you drink some water and you go onto this beautiful device that can make you a lot of money, right? Beautiful girlfriend there. what happens is you go onto social media, and I can already feel it as I'm on my phone. Okay, you go onto social media, and immediately, right, my Aura Ring tells me that my stress spikes. The moment I go onto my phone, my stress spikes. And so it puts me in a different state. But when you go onto any other social media apps, luckily mine is blocked off, so I can't go on there. But when you go on to any of those social media spikes, not only does it spike your stress, but it also sucks you in, right? You get more micro information in 2 minutes on social media than your grandmother did in her time in months. And it's just indespicable to do that to yourself as soon as you wake up. And so already the world has captured you. Imagine that it was my job, okay, to try to get your brain to do anything else but your mission. And I had billions of dollars, let's just say trillions of dollars, to take your mind away. What would I do? I would design an app that is developed like a slot machine, which is statistically one of the most addicting things in the world. And I would develop a habit in you where you wake up and you go onto that app and you start scrolling, and your addiction starts early morning. And before you know it, it's 4 p.m. and your screen time is 7 hours, and 5.5 of those hours was on your phone. This is what's happening every single day. The world is getting captured, or the world is capturing your mind before you can even prime it, before you can even get a control over it, before you can even let the clouds go away. And so what I'm saying is, you want to create a morning routine, a morning rhythm, where you know that you're going to wake up, and you know before you let the world capture your mind, you're going to pray, you're going to read, you're going to do some push-ups, you're going to work out, because all in that time, those are tasks that do not take your mind away. In fact, it puts you with yourself. It puts you, when you pray, of course, it puts you with you and God. But when you're working out, it's just you and your thoughts, and you get to capture those thoughts, right? The Bible says, take captive of every thought. When you're working out, you get to have a control over those thoughts and do something that is beneficial towards you. So it's much easier to be kind to yourself, and it's much easier to prime your mind. What does that mean? If I wake up and I start saying it's a bad day, I'm priming my mind in bad, right? It's like I'm cooking my brain in just the worst seasonings, and putting bad seed oils in it, okay? As soon as I wake up, and I'm putting it back in my brain. That's the way people move every single day. When you go into the public and you start talking to them, it's like, dang, their brain is fried. However, when you prime your mind in good, right, by working out, and you read and you pray, it's like taking your brain and, how do I even give this analogy right now? It's like giving your brain the best massage and giving it all the best supplements and all the best. It's just imagine that, okay? The bad and the good. When you wake up and you pray and you eat well and you drink a lot of water, it just sets your mind up in such a good capacity. So then all throughout the day, you're going to have a much better day. You're going to be able to solve problems much easier. Everything else gets substantially easier when you could set up that morning. And I'm going to give you one. If you don't already have a morning rhythm, I'm going to give you one. So there's a very simple morning rhythm that I used to follow every day called SAVERS. Silence, affirmation, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. And so it just means you start your morning in silence. You wake up at whatever time you want. Just make sure you set the time that you wake up, right? Because you want to do what you say you're going to do every day and start building that confidence. When you tell yourself you're going to wake up at a certain time and you don't, you lie to yourself, okay? You start to lose that self-respect. And so if I wake up at 6:30 a.m., what I want to do is I want to start the morning with silence. What's tough is that the alarm starts beeping at you, turn it off, and intentionally take 2 minutes of silence. That means don't grab your phone. That means don't do anything. Don't go and do some push-ups. Just sit there in silence. And something that Andrew does a lot, my brother and business partner, is the first words that come out of his mouth is "Thank you, God." And so that's something I start doing. I just say, "Thank you so much." I start praying. Okay. After that, right, those were affirmations come in. Instead of affirmations now, what I do is I pray out loud. I say, "Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this day. Father, go into each of my meetings ahead of me, lead those meetings, go into all of the discussions I have today, lead those with me." And I just invite God into everything that I do. It's been very beneficial for me. After that, there's visualization. Something I used to do a lot is mentally rehearse. I would mentally rehearse the day that I was going to have and just imagine it to be so great, and all the things that were happening, all the meetings, I would really imagine it. Because some of the greatest athletes, what they do is they imagine their free throws. They imagine their three-pointers. They imagine their up bats. And the studies show that the ones who mentally rehearse, they improve, they get better. Some of the greats are the ones who mentally rehearse. After that is exercise. Exercise, get yourself in a good state, hit some push-ups. We've been doing a 10-day challenge with about 18 of us. I'm gonna see who's in there. So we have a 10-day challenge, and every single day there's 100 squats, 100 push-ups, and 10 minutes of reading. And so yesterday, day 6, we officially completed 10.8K push-ups, 10,800 squats, and 1,080 minutes of reading. And so the entire crew has been doing this every single day, and I have just witnessed the most energy I've seen out of them. I've witnessed the most, how do I say, like oomph out of them, because it just changes your state in the morning. It gets you into this mentality that is ready to go. And again, when you're doing push-ups in the morning and you're telling your mind that you got this and it's going to be a great day, your mind has to say yes. Your mind has to agree with you because you're in motion, right? Energy and motion. You're focused on just improvement. And so your brain has no way to say, no, you're not enough, you're weak. It overpowers all those negative thoughts. And I wish I could teach this at a really big scale to all teenagers, all children, all adults, everyone in the world, because their inactivity allows their negative thoughts to grow, and it has a stronghold over them. Because those negative thoughts, like I'm not enough and I'm too weak and I'm too fill in the blank, has a stronghold over them, it doesn't allow them to go do anything else. It doesn't allow them to go change. It doesn't allow them to lead with a different attitude. But when you drop and do push-ups, or when you go for a run, you break through that stronghold for a minute, and you can start filling your mind with what you want to hear in that time. And so you get a period of time in motion where you get to fill in good affirmation. But affirmation without motion, affirmation without movement doesn't really work, because your brain, if it's already negative, it's too strong if you're not moving. It's too strong if you're not putting your body or your brain into motion. That's why, active affirmation, I would write that down. Active affirmation is so strong. It's like 10x stronger than just stagnant affirmation. Okay, next is going to be creating a nightly rhythm. Number 4 is creating a nightly rhythm. So every single night, what I'll do is I'll have the exact time that I'm off of my screens, okay? Or at least I'm done working. Let me share this. Boom. Okay. So this week is not a good week to compare with because I'm going to Japan, which I'll talk about in a moment. For example, let me talk about this for a second. I'm in Japan from the 30th to the 10th, and I'm prepping early how I want my days to go. For example, I leave on the 30th, guys? Do we leave on the 30th? I have my flights here. I gotta make sure not to put that in there. But I have all my meetings prepped out ahead of time. I have the times that I eat dinner and the times that I go to sleep already. But let's go to a week like last week, okay? Inside of my Google Calendar, I have the times that I wind down and that I stop doing things. And then I have the time that I go to sleep. But you see how I change it, guys? Right? I'm not always so consistent. There's times where I change my sleep, but I probably changed my wake up time too. That doesn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying. I change it based on what I need. I know I need 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep, so I'll prep myself. Okay, this one I had a men's mastermind, that's why I woke up early. Otherwise, I would have woke up around 7. Okay. You see, I'm always putting the times that I wind down and the times that I go to sleep, and I do my best to eat a little bit sooner so that I can sleep at an ample time. Yesterday I went to LA, and so that's why I have sleep at like midnight or something like that. I don't remember what time I actually went to sleep, but my wake up is much later because, hey, I'm not gonna have a day with 5 hours of sleep when I don't have to, right? I'm gonna make sure I can wake up at 7:30. But I always have my nightly rhythm. And why do I say nightly rhythm is because I don't really believe in a full routine every day where it's the same time, same hours anymore. I used to teach people, I was very hard on people. I would shame them. If they didn't wake up at 5 every single morning for like a year straight, I would shame them. Or like a month straight. I would say you're lying to yourself if you're not doing it. But then I realized like I wasn't doing that. I would wake up at 5, but if I really needed sleep, I would sleep until 6:30 sometimes. But then there was days where I was like 5 a.m., 5 a.m., 5 a.m., 5 a.m., running on 4 hours of sleep. And the whole day I was just groggy. The whole day I wasn't positive. The whole day was really hard. And so I stopped doing that. Now what I do is I prioritize my sleep and I wake up at a good time to be able to get what I need to get done throughout the day. If I have meetings during the day, I'll make sure I get up at that time. However, I've noticed in this year that I started doing that, I am so much more productive. I'm wildly more productive because I prioritize what is more important. Am I saying that sleep is more important than money in your work? Not necessarily, but I am saying that your health is more important because if you don't have good health, how are you going to run your business? How are you going to make money? How are you going to protect your family? And so that's why I believe your sleep is amply important because it also comes to your mind. How able are you to solve problems with 2 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep versus 8? Right? I might be able to solve a problem just like that in 8 hours, but with 3 hours of sleep, it might hurt my brain and put me in such a bad state and take me a lot longer to solve that problem. Okay? So a nightly rhythm you can do is this. Set the time that you're going to stop working, set the time that you're going to go to sleep, and prepare the time that you're going to wake up in the next morning. Because again, you don't have a time management problem, you have an awareness problem. When we don't do that, it's 11 p.m. and we don't even know what we're doing tomorrow. And I don't even know I don't even know in the past 2 hours where my mind has been. Because at night you're tired, you're not focused on where your mind is. And so you kind of lose yourself in those later hours. Set yourself up. Set yourself up in the mornings. I promise you right now that this is such a simple thing you can do tonight, but it's a game changer. Make tomorrow you happier and make it easier for tomorrow you to be successful by just setting out your clothes for them. Set out your clothes, your workout shoes, your workout pants. Set your desk up nicely, because tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and you're just going to say thank you. Thank you so much. You made it so much easier for me. Because your willpower during the day is a lot. It goes up and down throughout the day. But early morning, your willpower is pretty low because you're still in a warm bed. But if you set out the water next to you, plus your clothes and your shoes, it makes it so much easier for you. And then throughout the day, your willpower goes up. While it's up, set up the next day for yourself. What's even more important that you can do for yourself, I know I'm giving you guys so much, but this is something you guys can go back and watch. Something else you could do is set up your next day today while you have the willpower. And so you see my tomorrow, Wednesday, I have my entire day planned out. From the moment I wake up, I'm going to read, I'm going to hit push-ups, then I'm driving to the airport, I have my flight, then I get settled. What's so important is that I'm not putting a flight and then all of a sudden I'm home. It's not plausible. It takes an hour to get settled and to get back to the house and to have eaten. And so I make sure to give myself ample time for that. Even in this case, what is that? Almost 90 minutes. After that, I have a meeting. So I'm just showing you that how important it is to have proactivity in how you prepare your time. Tomorrow and Thursday is all prepared. Thursday is my Thanksgiving. I don't have to worry mentally about if I'm being productive or not, because I've already set out and made the decision that I'm going to be relaxing all of Thursday. And I have a workout in there. I have everything prepped and ready to go. It's wildly important to start doing this and making a habit of making tomorrow easier for you. Okay? You see, I also have my meetings prepared for the leaders, CEOs, business owners who have recurring meetings. Put it on your calendar. And if you prepare a meeting, prepare it a little bit later out and set it on your calendar so you know where it is and you know that you don't have to worry about it. Guys, we're moving fast, but I got a lot to cover. 5. Okay, 5 is to eat the frog. Eating the frog means do the hardest or most important task first. This is one that I've practiced in certain days because a lot of my tasks now are pre-planned. But a lot of the times we have big tasks that we know we have to take care of. You want to do the hardest ones pretty early on in the day. It's been so helpful for me. One of the biggest things I do is I study. I study a lot in the morning because I know that after 9 a.m. I got meetings left and right and I got no time to study, but also it's so much harder to study at night. But I know what's one of the most important things for me is I study the Bible, is I read and engage my mind intellectually and grow it. Because when I'm on stage or when I'm doing these live shows, it's all because of that time in the morning that I prepared. It's that time that I have studied and meditated on word, meditated on ideas for me to then share it here. This is going to be the thing that drives our business 10, 20, 30x in the very near future. And so it's the most important thing for me. So I do it very early in the morning. You eat the frog. Okay, there's a book called Eat the Frog. I have not read it because I got the idea. You just do the most important thing in the beginning. Okay? One of you guys asked a question. Kate asked, what do you do when inspiration suddenly hits at night? You keep a notebook nearby because I know how important it is for me to sleep. But I used to have bouts of inspiration at night where I would get up and I would go do something. But my day after that would be screwed up because of it. But when I have a notebook and I write down the idea that comes at night, that is when I'm able to rest my mind, because it doesn't just live up here. Do not treat your mind like an office. Take a piece of paper, write it down. Now you take it out of your brain. It belongs on paper. Your brain can rest because you know you won't forget it because it belongs here. Okay? That principle could be used all across the day. I have, one day I'll write a book, but I have dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of notebooks sitting around the house that I've filled up from start to finish because I always have my office with me. My computer, yes, my phone, yes, but also a pen and pad, a pen and paper, because sometimes I don't always have my phone directly with me, or when I sleep, I don't want to be with my phone, so I always write down those notes, okay? Oh, okay, so we covered 5. We're halfway done. Are you guys enjoying this? You guys getting value from this? Type in the chat, yes, if you're getting some good value from this. I enjoy this, and I wish I would have had this when I got started. Number 6, schedule buffer time. Schedule buffer time. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but if you don't schedule buffer time, you're giving yourself a lot of strain and stress, and you're actually setting yourself up for failure. Okay? For me, you don't see a whole lot of empty spaces. It's because I've really gotten to understand my time. I know where my time goes now. However, for example, the little bit of buffer time I had today was between the boardroom call and calling Paul. And what I did there was I just went for a little walk and I did a bit of my workout, and I was able to get a lot done. I was able to get a lot done in these 15 minutes than I would have otherwise. Okay? Now, same thing with lunch. I give myself a whole hour lunch. Why? Because I can. I used to give myself 30 minutes and I would have to rush. I would scarf food down, and then after I would be so groggy because I didn't eat the food correctly. I didn't chew it correctly. So then I started giving myself an hour when I could give myself an hour. Same thing for content. Sure, I can give myself 5 minutes to shoot a video, and sometimes I do, right? I have posting here for 15 minutes, okay? But sometimes I know that I'm here at my mom's and I know they might want to come and hang. And so I give myself a whole hour for content and then a whole hour for show prep. And honestly, what I did is this lunch ended up being 2 hours, right? Because we just hung out with my dog and my mom, my sister, and we just had an enjoyable time. But I gave myself this buffer time so I didn't have to stress so much before the show. But I also prepared show prep before. That way I don't stress out so much. Because after Paul, that conversation with him, I have 1, 2, 3 hours before this show and a whole hour of prep time and some hour to market it, etc. After this, I have a whole 2.5 hours to hang with my mom and then dinner. Right? It's a lot of buffer time, of course, and this is specific time where I'm not working. But in these 2.5 hours, I will make sure that I'm not grabbing a meeting unless I really need to, right? But also it's my chosen day on these next few days that I've designed my life in a way where, tomorrow I'll be with my girlfriend and Thursday I'll be with her and her family. I have made it a count for myself to not take any meetings, right? But let's just say there's an emergency in there and my brother Andrew needs to have a meeting, right? I have a whole lot of time. I can walk out and I can take that call. Let's just say it's anyone but Andrew. I probably won't take the call. You can make those decisions in that way for your life when you start to design it in this way. Okay. Next, weekly review. Every single week, review your calendar. Look at your calendar. Look at where your time went. Look at your screen time. If you have an Oura Ring, look at your stats there and just see and reflect. Hey, what went well? What didn't go well? Where did I waste a lot of time? Where did I save a lot of time? Where did I do really well? Where could I have used improvement? When you do that, it's fertilizer for your growth. It's fertilizer for your skill sets that you're learning. It's fertilizer for your life in the way that you lead it. When you ask yourself those questions, you literally grow it at an exponential rate. And a lot of people miss out on that. A lot of people waste the growth that they have in a week by not reflecting and looking back and writing out what their lessons were. Right? The greatest form of thinking is what? The greatest form of thinking is writing. When you can write out your thoughts and journal and prompt yourself, you can learn so much from that. Okay? Before Monday hits, so Saturday, Sunday, Friday is your greatest times to really reflect. I do a lot of my productive reflection in terms of being on the computer or physically writing on Saturday. And then on Sunday, while I'm resting, I'll allow my brain to start thinking about what I can improve, or I'll use that time to think about what awesome things happened this week. It's more of a restful reflection. All right, 8, 9, and 10. You guys ready? 8 is to track one metric every single day. When you track a metric, you can start to see gradual growth, and it'll prove to you how important it is to have things measured. What's not measured is not improved. What's not measured is not understood. You want to make sure, whether it's your sleep, whether it's your steps, whether it's your screen time, that you measure something. I'll show really quick here what everything that is I measure. So what I measure first is my screen time. And so I use an app called Opal. I'll see what the percentage of my focus is, and then the screen time, and then all the different apps that I used. For example, Instagram's way too high right now. It's 52, but I'm figuring out some insights right now. Messages, that's normal because I use my messages to work a lot. Facebook, 34 minutes. I'm just hyped because one of my posts went viral on Facebook, so I'm on there. Look them up. But I look at my screen time in this way, and I track it. In addition to that, I have my Oura Ring, and so what I'll do is I'll track my stress, and this is just like my body's, the stress it's going through, it's being put through, and I'll measure it there. In addition to that, I'll measure my activity and my steps. Okay, so how many steps I've taken so far, the total burn, and the activity time. Okay. And one more thing that I'll show you that I track is on Google Calendar. If you go to the left side, oh, maybe not on my phone. Here, I got my computer. What you can do on Google Calendar is you can track your insights on where your time goes if you color code it. So on my left side, how do I move my face? You guys see that on the left, right below? Okay. Well, I'm kind of covering it, but right here, you can see your insights of where all your time goes. For example, this week, I have 6 hours of business meetings. I ate for 16 hours apparently, where I will eat for 16 hours. Of course, I'm not consuming food for a whole 16 hours, but I did 2 hours of coaching calls. I could see that I did 0 hours of connecting calls. This year, building my network is so wildly important. And so to have spent 0 hours on it this week is a problem. But because I see that and I'm aware of it, I can start to make sure next week I have more time to connect. Okay? That is tracking something every single week. And it's just so important to just be aware. All right. I also track my insights on how the show is doing, how my content is doing, and all the other cool stuff. Always track. I'm a nerd when it comes to tracking things because I always want to improve. And I always use those measures and I ask myself, what can I improve? What did I do well? What could I do better? What am I not doing well? Where am I wasting time? And then I optimize the next week. Which is why someone might see me and Andrew, and I say this because Andrew does the same thing, and they might wonder how we're growing so fast in a year. It's because every day we're doing what the average person might do in a whole 3 months or 2 months. We're getting done in one day because we're optimizing. Do you have to do this? I don't think so, but a lot of people that follow me like to optimize, and they're leaders, and they're people who want to continue growing. And this is just the standard that we set for our people and for ourselves, most importantly. Okay? Number 9 is prioritize by identity, not urgency. A lot of people prioritize by urgency. Hey, I'm struggling with finances, so I'm going to do all the things to go make money. I agree with that to an extent, but I do believe you have to prioritize by identity. Who is it that you're becoming? Who is it that you're becoming? If I'm becoming someone that is a godly man, that is a great leader, that is a financially strong steward, then I have to do what that type of person would do. That type of person would get their sleep in well because they got to get their soul in check and their mind in check and make sure they're not all over the place. They would also make sure in the mornings they would set themselves up well for the rest of the day. And that's prioritizing by identity. That's prioritizing not, hey, I got to go do all these sales calls. Yes, you can put that in your calendar, but what you prioritize, whoa, my AirPods just died. Testing. When you prioritize by identity, you're just simply asking yourself, what does the best version of myself do right now? And what would he spend his time in? When you're prepping your day, when you're prepping your hours, the amount of time you have allotted to a certain thing is based upon who you want to become. But you might ask yourself, Leo, I need to make money, so I need to do client acquisition. Perfect. Because you understand that you are the type of person who is responsible for your business. You are the person who is responsible for your income growth. But you also know that 12 hours of sales calls without working out, without checking in with people, without taking care of your health is also going to plummet other areas of your life while increasing, sure, the financial, but then how long is that financial going to go up before your health kicks in and it goes right back down? So when you prioritize by identity, you can start to focus on, I need to get my sleep in order. I need to read and study and pray in the morning. And because of that, throughout the day, yes, I can get my sales calls in, but I'm going to be in the right mind state anyways for it. And every sales call that I do, I can ask myself afterwards, what did I do well? What could I improve on? So I can add a buffer time after each sales call to ask myself what I could improve on. Because you'll want to make sure that the next week from today, you are this much better than your sales at sales because you've been adding and prioritizing reflection time and improvement time and reading and coaching and mentorship versus just, hey, I'm gonna just knock out a bunch of sales calls. That's what happens when you prioritize by identity. It has changed my life because I wasn't someone that just decided to hustle for 16 hours a day because I know it wouldn't produce me the type of growth I want to have for the life that I want to live. Now, if you just want to do sales for the rest of your life, sure, maximize the amount of time that you have in your sales calls. But if you want to be someone who's making great money, who's in charge of your time, who lives and leads a great life, who leads a great family, who is respected and loved by his peers and his family and his relationship, and someone who teaches and guides, then you want to make sure to put in the time allotted slots to go do the things that that individual would do. That's number 9, prioritize by identity, not by urgency. Number 10. Oh, that was good. See, I love when that stuff happens. It's like when you allow the Spirit to lead in certain places by just like trusting and just being like, hey, I know this, but also I know that your energy can lead in a really cool way, and then so you speak through that, which is a really, really cool thing. Which I'll do another lesson on how to let the Holy Spirit lead you as you're teaching. It is just prayer, constant prayer. Pray without ceasing. Be very submitted. Hold another conversation. But 10, most important is number 10. Start small enough where you cannot fail. Time management and priority management is one of the most important things you can do. But when you just simply start small enough where it is impossible for you to fail, small actions over a long enough period of time create massive amount of momentum, which create a massive amount of success. If you can just start tracking one thing today, what would that be? And if you can just start utilizing your calendar just a little bit better than you were yesterday or last week, congratulations. You're moving towards the person that you want to become. Every day it's about asking yourself, what would the best version of me do? What would the better version of me do? And how can I start implementing that today? All of a sudden, maybe not all of a sudden, a week later, you're 7 days worth of action better than you were last week. Then 2 weeks, you're 7 more days better, plus the 7 days before that of compounded growth. And so if you're understanding this, every single action works off of the action before it. And it compounds into this unbelievable amount of growth where you look at yourself a year from now and you are just so encapsulated by the amount of change that has happened and the different person that you are, because your whole entire life can change. But it starts with one decision that you make today to start the process of growth. Whew. That is 10 tactics of time and priority management that you can start using today. Okay, I don't know if you can read this, but you can screenshot this. This is 5 years of building my life and managing my time, managing my priorities, and every day doing exactly what I just told you. And so don't ever get down on yourself for not being there yet. This is like level 30 when you might be on level 5, right? Or you might be on level 17. Doesn't matter what it is. You will get to that point where all of these 10 are like, yep, I got it down. Give yourself massive amounts of grace, because it is an amazing adventure. All those 5 years that it took to be able to get here, it was an incredible adventure, because I just got to be very present with the life that I'm leading right now. And I got to enjoy the journey, because every single day is a journey. Every single day is another chance to live this incredible adventure that we've been blessed with. And I just hope that you get to see that perspective. And because in the honor of Thanksgiving, I'm just, not just because of Thanksgiving, I'm so thankful in general for all of you and for this platform to be able to share this type of stuff. Because I promise you from the bottom of my heart, I just want you guys to grow. I want you to be able to utilize this and be the best version of yourself, so you can serve more people, so you can live a free life, so you can live a whole life and a strong life, and be the incredible leader that you know that you can be. And I'm going to pray us out. Father God, thank you so much for this beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you for Thanksgiving. Thank you for each person here that is listening, taking notes, and taking action. God, I just pray upon each and every single individual here that they will have a beautiful Thanksgiving. And if they're watching this later, I just pray that they're able to take these time management tools and tactics, give themselves grace, but also be able to utilize it in the smallest capacity, so they can get started, and so that they can take more control over their time. Because God, we understand that in the mornings and the nights and all throughout the days when you're trying to speak to us and trying to get to us, and the more we take captive of our thoughts and become very aware of where our time is going, the easier it will become to hear you and to be led by you. And I just thank you so much. And I say these things in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. Love you guys and have a beautiful rest of your day. Peace. Bye, guys.